Howdy, everybody. Welcome in. And once again, we are back with another weekend session with the coaches. We are here with Coach Daryl Colbert with the Beaumont United Timberwolves. Coach, you had a really good game against Jasper. First of all, thank you for doing this. Appreciate you coming in here
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you for having me, Holton.
Yes, sir. And talking about that Jasper win. Jasper, as we know, that is this program over the last 2 seasons that's done really remarkably well. And Coach Crumity's doing a fantastic job with those guys. But for them to come on the road to be you and in your 3rd season to have that kind of a win, what does it say about you guys?
Well, as you said, Coach Crumity's doing a phenomenal job. And as I told you earlier, Jasper's a team that has always been good. Even when I was in high school playing against the Jasper teams, they were always good. Always a team that made the playoffs, and they did well. So it's not surprising of the success that they've had under Coach Crumity. Him and the staff is doing a phenomenal job. But I'm just proud of our kids. I'm happy for our kids. I tell our kids all the time, you deserve to have some success. So with it being homecoming, quite a few people came out and supported the kids. I'm just happy for our kids.
I think what we're seeing with BU right now is that the community is starting to see the hard work that you guys put in, and more importantly, the kind of program that you're working on building there at BU, being that your 3rd season. So you're 2-2 on the year now. I know last year you finished with 2 wins. Mm-hmm. What's going to be the opportunity, or what's going to be the game plan, I should say, to continue to keep piling up those wins this season?
Well, what we'll do, we ask our kids for 2 things: to give effort and compete, and those are the things we use a mantra. Hard work pays off, and in that aspect, it's across the board. Academically, first and foremost, and then we ask our kids to come to practice every day and give everything that they got, and good things will happen for you. I always say I don't ever predict the score, but if you do the things in football, you can run the football, stop the run, and play good special teams, you're going to be in the game. So I'm excited for our kids just for that opportunity of what they have moving forward.
Well, talking about those student athletes, Coach, is there anybody that sticks out to you right now? Because I wanted to ask you about this too, just to kind of give you an opportunity to showcase your athletes. But anybody in particular that you've seen take a massive step forward in development just over the offseason and then into these first 4 games of the season so far?
Well, the strength of our team and our defense played really well the other day. And you look at 2 kids, Ja'Kias Kennebrew and Ed Taylor. Those kids, they're 2 of our defensive linemen. And they played really good along with Caden Legault, along with the linebackers, Jeremiah Stevens and Chris Norman and Cedric McGill. Those kids have played really, really well for us. But those kids have played a lot of snaps. They played a lot last year. So I'm just proud of them and proud of Coach Frank, our defense coordinator, of getting those kids and putting them in the right position to make plays.
And then, talking about the leadership of the squad, are those guys stepping up, and how does that affect a team as a whole, especially in the locker room, and then that turns on the field? Those leaders, when they step up and they're helping move that team forward, how important is that?
Well, I'll tell our kids all the time, all the good teams, and I was on some good football teams in high school, your teams is when they take ownership of the player-led. And right now, Ja'Kias Kennebrew and Ed Taylor and those guys, they do a great job for us leading by example. So always you look at any successful teams, when it's player-led, good things happen for them.
And then looking ahead to this Friday night, Coach, this is when you're going to start district play. You're back in 5A, and this is a very, very, very talented district, and you're starting off with Port Arthur Memorial, which has no surprise, and they're no stranger to the kind of talent that's across the field. What is going to be the thing to look at when you're facing a team like that on the road? Well,
Coach Morgan and his staff have done a phenomenal job. I've kept up with them the last few years. They've done, they went 3 rounds, 4 rounds in the playoffs. So they've done a phenomenal job. Our kids know a lot of those kids. They've played against each other, since Little League and middle school. So we have our work cut out, man. But just to having the opportunity, I tell our kids, when you have the opportunity to go out and play a great team like this, you just try to just seize the moment. So our kids, they're excited. Like I say, our first district game, we have a goal. Our goal is to make the playoffs, and it starts this week. So, I'm excited for our kids because they do get that opportunity to go out and compete. So we have to go out, as we told them today, they have to go out and have a great practice this week and, just let it all hang out. Don't be scared to go out there and play, because football is a fun sport, man. Go out there and have a good time, man. See what happens.
That's the most important part. You want to let these kids go out there and enjoy their time, because I think that's a lot of the missing factors. You worry too much about game planning and stuff, and at the end of the day, you are playing a game. And you want to go out there and enjoy, and a win would help. But win or lose, what can a matchup like this early in district kind of help determine the direction of your program going into district play?
Well, going into district with a win, first and foremost, that's huge for us. But just just going out there and just doing the things that we ask them to do. And I always say the scoreboard takes itself. You don't turn the football over. You don't give up the big plays and those things. You're sound in the kicking game. Good things can happen for you as you go throughout a game. So I'm just excited for our kids, as I keep saying, because they do have the opportunity to do this, and we're moving in the right direction. One thing when I took over the job 3 years ago, I said I came back here to give back what was given to me. And, my coaches, they played a great part, and I stand here because of them, and I want to give the same thing to our kids.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. My next question was about your coaching staff, Coach. Talking about those guys that you've brought into this program to help move these kids forward and help achieve their dreams. What can you say about your staff?
Well, the one thing about my staff, I like my staff. Those guys do a phenomenal job for our kids. I kind of took the model from my coach, Alex Durley. All the coaches that were on his staff, man, they were like father figures for us. I stand here because of those guys. Even when I was in middle school, the Coach Paynes and Coach Broussard and those guys, and then when I got to high school, Coach Morgan, Coach Nolan, and all those guys set a standard for us that we could follow, and I still follow today. So the coaches that I hired, along with Albert Hardy, our offensive coordinator, Malcolm Frank, our defense coordinator, along with Galen Douglas, our special teams coordinator, along with the other coaches. One thing I preach to them all the time, man, we have to be that example for our kids. And they've done that. They give everything that they can to our kids. And that's really what it's about, man. This business, if you're not in it for the kids, man, you're just in it for the wrong business. For the wrong reasons. That anyone that's going to be around me when you're dealing with kids, you have to be in it for that reason, because I am the man I am because of my coaches.
And that's super refreshing to hear you say that, Coach, because a lot of the times that's another one of those things that gets easily forgotten.
Absolutely.
Talking about how this is mostly about those guys on the field and giving them the best. Because I think I've talked to a few coaches just about the experiences of high school football, and I think it was actually it was over there at Westbrook when I was talking to Coach Langston, talking about how these games you will remember for the rest of your life. High school football are games that you will remember. I remember almost all of my games in high school, and so does my dad, who played with the Tatum Eagles back in the 1980s. You remember these games, and they're super important. So to have you have that aspect is super refreshing, Coach. And then talking about those students as well, what made you, in your mind, want to chase that dream of giving these kids an opportunity to play football?
Well, as I said, man, sports has just been, I've been doing it all my life. I tell my kids all the time, football has taken care of me all my life. And I just want them to experience some of the things. It just doesn't, because the values of what football teaches is so phenomenal. As we say, you get knocked down in life, you have to get up. So I tell them all the time, man, you're going to go through something. Same thing like a football game. We were down 10-0 throughout going into the fourth quarter. But the football game is long, and we end up coming out on top because the kids didn't waver. They didn't give up. It's the same way in life. And I tell them this all the time. And that's what we talk about. We talk about a lot of life skills all the time, because I love when my wife and I go somewhere, kids that I've coached 5, 10 years ago, they're married, they have a family. That's what it's about when they come up and say, hey, Coach, man, thank you. I remember some of the things that you told me. And that's really what it's about, Holton, because my deal, I would not be here, man, if it wasn't for the guys and the coaches that sold into my life. So just to be here and have the opportunity to do that, man, is just phenomenal, and I thank God for it.
That's awesome, Coach. That was absolutely phenomenal. I was just going to give you another chance to say anything else that you want to say about your team, about the schedule down the road, anything else you want to add about BU
Well,
football?
I'm just excited going into district play. You take them one game at a time, man. We have our work cut out. We're in a tough district, man. A lot of people say, well, you're going down from 6A to 5A. But the district we're in is one of the perennial districts in the state. So, you look at the teams that we have, the Port Arthurs, the Barbers Hills, the Galveston Balls, the Lufkins, Westbrook along with Sterling. Those are great football teams. So we have our work cut out, but we're excited to get the opportunity to compete. We're excited to get the opportunity to have some success, and I'm just excited for our kids. And we're going to continue to work hard, and we're going to shoot for the sky, man.
That's awesome, Coach. And I'm excited for you guys. I know I'm excited because I know that as far as this week is concerned, y'all's game against Port Arthur Memorial at 7 o'clock at Port Arthur Memorial Stadium is our game of the week. Make sure you show out and, of course, tune in to that game as well. Guys, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Coach,
Yes,
for being here.
thank you, Holton, for having me, man, all the time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.